Welcome to the CAD Office training series for F.Connect for OpenBridge Modeler. My name is Steve Tischer, and I'm a structural engineer with Atkins Realis. In this video, we'll be covering exercise 6.5 from the Bridge Design 3D Modeling and Plans course guide. This exercise demonstrates how to place a structure's standard data table linked to an Excel file. Let's get started. During this exercise, we'll learn how to place tables using the Place Table tool and link it to an Excel file. All right, so for this exercise, we're going to start off in the workset folder, the structures folder, and then going into the ENG data folder is where we're going to find the structures standard data table Excel file. So once we double click on this, open this up, one thing that we'll first note is that the very first tab of this Excel file is an instruction tab. So everything we're covering in this video is also covered and shown in this instructions tab here with screenshots and kind of step-by-step procedures and on how to link to the table in the Excel file, how to refresh it, if you're refreshing multiple sheets at the same time, and so on and so forth. So for this exercise, though, we are going to be going to the 458.110 port expansion joint tab. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to that tab there. And we'll go ahead and enter this data we see here. This is going to be the data that we link to. Now, one thing to note that the instructions tab says is that we try to indicate what rows and what cell range that we're linking to in the tables by highlighting green. So since I really only want this information here to be linked to the table and plans, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this to indicate that so that only the green shaded cells are the ones that I'm going to be linking to the plans itself. And once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and then I'll just minimize it for now because I want to remember what my cell range is here. So it's usually pretty useful to keep this file open and look back to see what the cell range is here. Now I know it's A5 to D6, but sometimes you don't remember that all the time. So we're going to go ahead and keep that file open for now. And then from there, we're going to go ahead and go into OBM, and we're going to click on Browse. And we're just going to browse to that blank file folder back in the main folder structure, the work set here. Scrolling down to the bottom, we have that blank file. We're just going to open that up just to gain access to that create file tool that we're going to use. Now, this workflow that we're going to show here for this place table tool, this is going to show like if you were to use like a master table DGN file where you have like one DGN file with all of your tables in there, and then maybe you want to reference that same DGN file into other sheet models in different sheet files. But that's not necessarily what you have to do. It's just one way you can do it here. So we'll go and get into that create file tool here, go into the F. Tab here and create file. And then make sure you're in the structures discipline, and then under file group, we're going to go structure design files. And we're just going to use this 2D file type here to place these tables in for this kind of master data table example here. And we'll just go ahead and put the bridge sequence number in here, 01. And then we're going to browse where to output this. We're going to actually just go ahead and put it in the same folder as the Excel file itself is in here. So that's C worksets F dot and then the workset name, and then we'll go to the structures folder. So going into there, got the C worksets F dot, the workset name here, and then we'll go ahead and go into the structures folder and ENG data and click OK. That looks good. None of this other stuff really makes any difference because we're just putting table information in here. We're not actually, putting elements or anything that needs to be geolocated. So this is fine the way it is. And I'll go and click Create Open File. Once that file is open, we can go and close this Create File dialog box here, and then we can switch over to the drawing workflow up here under the Annotate tab, and that's where we're going to find the Place Table tool. You can also find that in your pop-up menu if you hit spacebar, and that's going to be on the annotation line down here with all the annotation tools on the far right there, that Place Table tool. So go ahead and click that Place Table tool. And then within the Place Table window, we're going to select the icon containing the Excel logo. So we're going to go and click on the Excel logo right here. And we're going to set the seed to the 458.110 port expansion joint. And then from here, we have to kind of point it to where the file's at, the Excel file that we want to link to. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the little dot, dot, dot button right here next to the file name. And then we'll just navigate to where that file's at in the structures folder, ENG data, in this file right here. And go ahead and click open. Now, sometimes this will take a minute or two. This one here was pretty quick. So we're going to change the worksheet to the tab we want to use to link to. So that's going to be that 458.110 port expansion joint. Automatic, I don't really want an automatic selection of my range. I want to manually choose that myself. So I'm going to do manual. And then this is where you might not remember exactly what the cell range was you wanted to link to. So we can go ahead and open that back up here. And that's going to be that A5 to D6. So I'm just going to change this to A5 to D6 and click OK. Give it a second and I kind of zoom in here to see where it's going to be placed in the set. I can kind of maybe go somewhere closer to the axis down here. And we kind of see it looks a little funky here, but this is what happened. In some versions, the underlying MicroStation has some issues with the place table tool they've been working on here. But even if there's something like this happening, we can go ahead and fix this. Now, this isn't what you should see once the MicroStation underneath the version of the OBM version that we're using gets updated and fixed. You won't see this, but this is kind of like what you'll have to do if you do see something like this. And if the underlying MicroStation does have an issue with the place table tool as is. So I'll go ahead and left click to place this. And then from here, I can just do a couple quick things to fix what this looks like here, right? Just kind of format this table a little bit differently. So I can go ahead and select the table. And then just start adjusting some of these these column widths here. We'll go ahead and make this a little bit bigger here. And again, sometimes this tool can be a little laggy with it, but just give it a couple seconds and it should go ahead and update itself here. So this is all merged as one cell in the seed file, this first row here with the table title. So that's fine. So we're just going to go ahead and, again, update some of these column widths here so that this looks a little bit better. And go ahead and adjust this one here. And then this last one, we'll adjust this just a little bit here. So, it is pretty easy to adjust these things on the fly. So not a big hindrance to the fact that the underlying MicroStation has an issue in this particular version here. We can go ahead and update this with not too much effort. Now that I kind of got my other rows here sized, I'll go ahead and readjust this first one here to get something more like maybe 3 lines of text here. That looks a little bit better there, a little bit more compact. And that should be good. That should be all the changes I'll need to make in there. And if there's anything else you need to change or update, all of these table tools are up here, very similar to Excel in terms of being able to merge cells, split cells, the justification of the text, horizontally and vertically, borders and anything like this. Really very, very good and easy things to change up here with this place table tool. So this one looks good. I'm going to go ahead and fit screen and maybe zoom out just a little bit here so I can always come back to this file and see this view exactly the way it is. And I'll go ahead and Control F to save my settings. Go ahead and save the file. And then from here, we'll go ahead and close it. So let's go ahead and say close. And since, remember, this is kind of like a workflow, which we're using that file that we just created as like a master data table, in a sense where we can put all of our data tables and just reference that one file into different sheet models. What we can do is we can actually go back to where we saved that at, and we can go ahead and rename it something that makes more sense for what we were doing there. So we'll change this to B01 master data table. Again, this is just an option. One way that you can do this, or you can just link the files, link the Excel tabs and tables directly into sheet models. You don't necessarily need to do this master data table workflow here. All right, so now we have that file renamed to what we want it to be. We can go back in here to OpenBridge Modeler and click on Browse, and we're going to browse to the BO1 expansion joint detail 6.5 DGN file here, and click Open. And this should open directly to the sheet model, which is where we're going to reference in that table that's in the master data table DGN file. So to start off with, we'll just go ahead and go to our references. Actually, got to make sure we're in the right model space here. So let's go ahead and get into the sheet model itself, which if we look in this file here, we got the default model and the sheet file, or the sheet model here. And now that we're in here, we can go ahead and click on the reference, attach reference, and we're just going to attach that master data table DGN file here. Click on open. Everything in here looks fine. Click on OK. And then we want to right click and hold on this reference and say move reference. And we can move it to where we want it to be here in sheet file. Now this is a drawing boundary that gets created when we're referencing in things into the sheet models here. It's not really used or needed. You could go ahead and change the name if you needed this for like a title of this view here, but we don't really need that for this particular table. So you can either delete it or just pull it off to the side down here. I'll typically pull it off to the side and leave it there alone for what I'm using it for. And again, just one last reminder, we've said it a couple times before already, but we could just have gone right into this DGN file that has a sheet model and done the place table tool right in here. There's not a need to go and use some kind of master data table file like we showed in this exercise here. But it's just another way that can be done, so we wanted to show it. Requires a couple little extra steps, so I thought it'd be good to show that. And that's it for this exercise.